Hello and welcome to the Bellicose Nation. Imagine, if you will, if your daughter, your wife, your sister or friend has suddenly vanished and for a decade not one trace was found of them, and suddenly one day you get that call that she has been recovered. Well, not one but three families recently got that good news. The call they had prayed for so long finally came after three such women were discovered in a Cleveland home not very far from the area that they were abducted in. And they were held for about a decade. Now, I'll post links below, but the basics are three Cleveland women were individually abducted. Two were teens at the time. The first woman is Amanda Berry. Apparently, she got loose from the basement, and with the help of neighbors, she broke out the front door and called police, who then recovered Gina DeJesus and Michelle Knight. Now, imagine being captive in a home or dank basement for a decade. There's no telling the horrors that these women endured, and there's no need to even speculate the abuse they suffered. But you know, sex is always a common theme. In fact, when the police entered the home, they found not only the other two women, but also a 6-year-old child as well. Amanda is that child's mother. Now, this story is remarkable, and as it develops, we're learning a number of new twists and oddities which truly make this a rather unique, unusual abduction story. Number one, a 52-year-old man and his two brothers are being charged so far in the case. Typically, these long-term abductions seem to be done either by a single man or with a female accomplice. Number two, the close proximity between the location of the abductions to the home that they spent nearly a decade in. They were so close together, it's hard to believe. So close, in fact, that this very house was canvassed by searchers seeking information years ago. Number three, the son of the main suspect, Ariel Castro, wrote a story in a local publication in 2004 on how the disappearance of one of those girls had changed the neighborhood. So far, he's not being arrested, but if he's not connected, what is the likelihood of that? Number four, the neighbor Charles Ramsey, who first heard the calls of help from Amanda, is being known as the McDonald's guy, as he was eating his takeout meal at home when he got involved in this. Now, this guy is a YouTube personality if ever there was one. And I suspect we'll be seeing more of him, mainly because he's so animated and speaks without caution. In one clip, he shares how he knew something was really wrong because, quote, a good-looking white girl jumped up and hugged him. In another line, he marvels at the size of the testicles of the perpetrator for doing this. Number five, a prison inmate was sentenced 4.5 years for giving a false report of information on the Berry case, which led to the futile excavation of a location. There are also some people who spent some considerable time in jail as they were being investigated. Now, one of the side notes that is rather heartbreaking is Amanda Berry's mom, who never stopped praying and never stopped believing that her daughter would come home. Well, she did have her prayers and faith honored, but unfortunately not while she was living, as she passed away in 2006 due to health problems and the toll of her daughter's disappearance. Now, you know, one of the things I try to look at in these cases is what can be done to help prevent such cases in the future. And really, you know, there's very little that we can do to prevent such things, except to just give up on life and live your life in a secure, insulated bubble. Because these things, unlike most crime, these crimes seem to happen anywhere. But one thing, I'm going to tell you, one thing I would seriously consider is for the death penalty to be broadened in this country. I think we value the rights and liberty of the most evil among us way too much. People who commit such unspeakable acts of cruelty, of abuse, and of rape, they deserve real justice, my friends. And let me tell you something. An air-conditioned cell with cable TV and internet is a mockery of justice. And don't give me this crap, oh man, we're better than that. That's BS. How do you compare a man who kidnaps and rapes a child for a decade? How do you compare that to a community imposing judgment on his crimes? You know, I believe that a society is defined by what it tolerates. And when you allow vermin of the most extreme nature to be housed and fed and cared for until their ripe old age, that's a mockery. That is not justice. And I don't want to hear any of you guys saying, oh, you wait till some big black guy or some Bubba bends him over the bunk when they get in jail. They'll get what they deserve. Let me tell you something. This guy is going to be nearly 60 years old when he winds up convicted. You really think he's going to be eye candy around that prison? Now, I'm going to tell you, the death penalty is the most serious remedy and punishment that we can give out. And it should only be used in cases which reach a certain threshold. But I think it is time we start considering it in some of these cases. Because I'll tell you, man, I am sick and tired of watching these 50-year-old guys spend the last 2 decades of their life in jail while their victims spent a decade of their youth chained up to a pole in a basement being tortured for this guy's pleasure or torment. Now, I want to hear what you got to say. And I invite you to subscribe to follow the topics we cover here. This is the Bellicose Nation.